Carlos, you just announced that you've created a $1 billion fund that's going to invest in startups in the auto technology sector. Why did you see a need to do this?
Well, because we cannot do everything, and we don't see everything happening. So I think it was very important to show internally and externally that we're also looking for ideas, projects, technology coming from outside.
So how do these startups help you jumpstart your efforts, whether you're dealing with electric vehicles or coming out with the best self-driving vehicle? How will they help you?
They bring ideas, services, pieces of technologies, things that it would take too much time for us to do, too much money for us to do, or that represent another alternative that we want to test.
You also have announced that you're launching 12 electric vehicle models by the year 2022. Now that's only 5 years away, and everyone from GM to Tesla has pretty much the same goals. What leg up do you have, or what's your competitive advantage?
Well, first, our competitive advantage is we are the biggest producer and seller of electric cars today already. We occupy the ground. The Leaf is the most sold car in the world, electric car in the world. We occupy a lot of leadership position already. We want to continue to build on this leadership, and we think that by developing these 12 cars we are announced in different segments of the market, we're going to be able to continue to be leading the industry, obviously with a lot of efforts.
But you know, when people think electric vehicle, they think Tesla. And I know you've been committed to electric vehicles for decades, but what do you have to do to change the popular common perception that Nissan is an electric vehicle company?
Well, as long as they think Tesla and they buy Nissan, I'm okay. You know, I don't consider Tesla as a competitor. I consider Tesla as an ally to popularize, making more popular to buy an electric car. We are concentrated on the heart of the market and also on the affordable electric car. And we're going to continue particularly developing cars in these segments, which is a complement to what Tesla does.
Well, there's this other perception that the next wave of real innovation in the auto industry is not going to come from a car company. It's going to come from a Google or an Apple or some other Silicon Valley company. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Usually innovation comes from outside the industry when the industry is blind, when the industry refuses to see the evidence. Today it's not the case. The car industry is extremely attentive to all the technological evolution.
The other challenge that we always hear about that, you know, consumers are not really asking for an electric vehicle. They are very happy with their gas-powered cars and trucks. What do you think it's going to take to get, you know, people eager to have an electric vehicle?
Look, consumers usually, they don't care about, is it a diesel car, is it a combustion engine, is it a hybrid, is it a plug-in hybrid, or is it an electric car? I mean, I'm saying most of the consumer, 90% of the consumers don't care. What they care about is what's the price of the car, what the resale value of the car, what the total cost of ownership, is it reliable, and am I going to be serviced?
Let's talk a little bit about self-driving cars, those autonomous vehicles. What's your prediction on when we will have a completely driverless vehicle?
In prototypes, you have them already. There are plenty of prototypes, self-driving. In mass marketing, big quantity of driverless cars, I'm predicting it in 4 to 5 years from now.
Just 4 to 5 years? That soon? Completely driverless?
Completely driverless, accepted in communities, accepted in cities.
You know, as much as we talk about these driverless cars, consumers, most people are very fearful of them. They're worried about computer glitches, they're worried about horrible accidents, robots taking control. I'm sure people ask you about this all the time. What do you say?
I'll bet you that nobody's going to make in mass marketing driverless cars without making sure 100% that they are reliable. So forget about glitches, forget about rotors turning weird. I don't think this is going to happen because this is a big liability for car makers. So we're going to make sure that there is enough control, that there is enough robustness into the technology to avoid these kind of things.
I know you were just at the Consumer Electronics Show, and there were all these cool techie ideas that will be coming to the car industry. I mean, everything from cars that park themselves to biometrics that you use instead of your key. A lot of futuristic stuff. As you look ahead, let's say 5 years, what is the auto industry, what are the cars on the road going to look like?
Well, you're going to see 5 years down the road. The car is going to become a mobile space, totally connected, where you're going to be able to do a lot of things. It's a huge transformation. It's like the change from the telephone, where you were able only to communicate with people, to the smartphone, where not only you communicate with people, You have video games, you have movies, you have your email. You're going to be able to have all the application. That's the transformation that we're going to have with the car.
You know, just about every business leader is talking about artificial intelligence is so important. How critical is AI going to be in the transformation of the car industry that you're talking about?
Oh, it's essential. AI is essential in the transformation because, in fact, it's the source of a lot of the functionalities that we're going to be introducing into the car, and they're going to be extremely helpful for the consumer in the transformation of transportation device to smart, intelligent mobile space.